We learned about how while loops can be used to create a loop that mimics a for loop. Right? We create our iterating variable and we initialize it to its first value. We put in our Boolean expression here, and then at the bottom of the while loop we increment the iterating variable by a number like 1. Right? So this one here is going to execute 10 times. Let's go ahead and take a look at a different kind of while loop. Okay, so I'm going to come here to my for loops project. I'm going to say new Python file, and I'm going to call this age loop. And in the age loop, I'm going to take the program that we wrote over here for our challenge exercise in the branches task 3. I'm sorry, no, not here. Over here in the branches section for task number 3, I'm going to take these two programs and I'm going to add a loop to them to show you a different way that we can have a loop execute forever. Okay, so this program here says create a program that will allow the user to for their age. So I'm going to paste that in there, add a comment onto the front, maybe a couple new lines here. Okay, and so first things first is we want to create this program that's going to ask the user for their age. So let's say age is equal to input, enter your age, and then from there I'm going to say whether they're legally able to drive. So I'm going to say if age is less than, or well, let's just say less than 16, I believe is the age where you can get your permit, is less than 16, then I'm going to say print you are not able to legally drive. And then on the else, I can print line and I could say you are able to legally drive. Right? So simple enough. And if I go ahead and run this, I'm going to hit control, hit run age loop. I'm going to put my age as 14. You are not able to legally drive. I put my age as 16, and you are able to legally drive. What I want to do now is have my program continue to run this code here, continue to run this program repeatedly until I enter an age of 0. Okay. So how can I do that? Well, it would be very difficult to do that using a for loop, because a for loop you need to say for I in range and some number, right? So you need to say how many times you want this block of code to execute. Whether that's 10 times, you could put 10. If it's 100, you could put 100. But it's kind of difficult to write a for loop where it's going to say, where it says, okay, execute this block of code forever until they enter an age that is equal to 0. Okay, that's where the while loop comes in, because remember, for a for loop, we use it when we know exactly how many iterations we want the loop to run. A while loop, we typically use it when we don't know how many iterations we want the loop to run. So in this case, we want this block of code to run until they enter in 0 here. And when they enter in 0, then it should break out. Okay. So how can we set that up? Well, we say while age is greater than 0. Then keep doing this. Okay. So while age is greater than 0, keep on executing this code. Now, in order for us to set this up, we do actually need to create our age variable before the while loop. So we say age is equal to some number. And what number do we want to set age equal to before we start our loop? Well, we want to set it equal to a number where this is going to be a true statement. Okay. And why do we want that to happen? Because if we put, age is equal to -9 here, then it would come here to the while loop and it would say -9 is greater than 0. That's false. So it's not going to do this. And it's going to go to line 14 and it's going to end our program. Right? So we want to set age equal to a number where this expression is going to be true the first time. And then from there, age will be based on what the user enters in on the keyboard. Okay, and I'll start going. So basically, we want to set age equal to a number like 1, so that this statement will be true the first time, and that it'll get the while loop started. Okay, because we do want to get the while loop started. But once the while loop starts to run, then whether it continues or not is going to be based on what the user entered in on the keyboard. So let's go ahead and run this program. I enter my age of 5. You're not able to legally drive. I'm going to enter my age of 10. You are not able to legally drive. And I can keep going. All right, I can keep going forever if I wanted to, because this while loop is just going to get to the bottom of the loop, and then it's going to come back up and it's going to check if this is true. If it's true, it's going to keep going over and over and over and over again, infinitely, if you keep on entering an age that's greater than 0. Right? But then if I'm over here and I enter 0, and it's going to say you're not able to drive, and then bam, exits the code. Okay. So this is the typical way that you create a while loop. It's that you create the variable, set it equal to its first value, and then we create a Boolean expression here. And we're going to repeat this block of code over and over and over and over again until this Boolean expression is false. Right? Sometimes that could be an infinite number of times. Sometimes that could be even just one time. Right? So if I go ahead and run the program and I enter 0 and I hit enter, bam, it stops. So when you don't know how many iterations you want the while loop to run, you use a while loop. When you do know how many iterations you want the loop to run, then you use a for loop. All right. Maybe we can add another example here. Let's say here is a program that asks the user how many hours they entered for sleep and tell them whether they are or are not tired. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's call this not age, but let's call it hours. And let's go ahead and copy and paste it here and here and here. And I'm going to say while hours is greater than 0. Okay, because I want to keep on doing this over and over and over again until they enter in 0 for the number of hours, and then I want the while loop to stop running. Okay, so this is the Boolean expression that will make that happen. So I'm going to put here enter the number of hours you slept last night. And I'm going to say if they slept less than 6 hours, well, let's say less than 7 hours, then I'm going to say you are tired. And then if they slept more than 7 hours, that's going to be the else, and I can say you are not tired. Okay. Now let's go ahead and try running this. Okay, enter the number of hours you slept last night. I'm going to put 7. You are not tired. I'm going to put 19. You are not tired. I'm going to put 24. You are not tired. But I'm going to put 4 now. Say you are tired. 3. You are tired. 2. You're tired. 1. You're tired. I'm going to enter in 0. And it's going to say you're tired because you haven't slept at all. And then it's going to end our program. Because when it comes back up, it's going to say 0 is less than 0, greater than 0. And this is not a true statement. So it goes to the end of the while loop on line 14 and ends our program.